What's going on, everybody? We're back with another podcast. Little Waterfall Wednesday kind of thing going on here. We got Blake with Highland Waterfall and Nick with 734 Outdoors. I don't know. He's going to plug it later. But what's going on, guys?
Not much, Kyle. How are you?
Living the dream. Just wish Jerry was still here. I'll tell you that.
I agree.
I don't know who Jerry is. He's just some random guy that was drinking all of our beer here. But I'm going to start with Nick since he seems more like, I don't know, tightened up right now. Nick, let's hear a little bit about yourself, bud. Let the audience know who Nick is.
My name's Nick. I like to shoot geese. That's about all I got.
Hold on. I think it's this button here. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I can't believe it. All right, Blake, what about you? What about you, Blake?
My name is Blake. Blake Ossenmacher. I run the
I can
Highland.
never pronounce your name, just letting you know.
Yeah, nobody can. Nobody can. That's all right.
Yeah, Highland. The Highland dude. Yeah.
I run the Highland Waterfowl Instagram page. I've been hunting the last 4 or 5 years. Got brought into it from a couple buddies from high school, and just kind of been going with the flow from there. Met Nick through social media. Kind of just popped up one day, and we met, got into a field together, had one banger of a hunt, and just kind of went from there, and been enjoying it ever since.
So, Nick, do you want to try again?
Sure.
All right, go ahead. This is Nick with 734. Tell everybody about yourself, Nick.
I'm Nick. I run 734 Outdoors. I just, I got into it from really watching YouTube videos. Had a couple buddies who wanted to get into it with me, and ever since then, just, more and more into it. I want to start traveling to hunt, get out of the state of Michigan.
So you really didn't know anybody that, like, waterfowl hunted. You just, like, seen it and kind of got intrigued by it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to know.
I don't come from a hunting family at all. My dad
Really?
deer hunts a little bit. I deer hunted 1 or 2 years, just bounced around some public land with him. Kind of fell in love with it, and then just go from there.
I thought I had a bottle opener. I'm sorry.
I went from, deer hunting public land a little bit to YouTube videos, got into some squirrel hunting, some goose hunting, some duck hunting.
A little bit of everything,
Yeah.
man.
Now
That's cool, man.
if there's something to be shot, I'll shoot it.
It's kind of weird because of, you see these people on social media and stuff like that. And, like, there was a guy in our group, Wise. I didn't know he's only bird hunted for the years that he's hunted with us. So it's like, it's weird hearing the backstories, I guess, or where people have learned or where they got, introduced to it all. It's I don't know, I guess a learning thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Well, you said you've been doing it for a few years now. What's kind of your niche with it all? What keeps you going with it?
Honestly, what keeps me going with it is looking back at the videos on my phone of just watching us trick these birds into being where they don't want to be. We hunt a lot of we don't hunt a lot of feeds. We hunt a lot of just flyover fields that we're trying to pass shoot birds, and we're trying to just make them think that we're the feed. And
a lot of traffic hunts then.
A lot of traffic hunts. Yeah. And it works out well for us here and there, and that's what keeps us here doing it. Watching the feet down, coming in, honking. We love the big birds on the fields.
That's what I was going to bring up to you guys tonight, though, too. Whether we did, because, it was in between on doing a podcast or just hanging out, because this is, the second time? I mean, we talk damn near every single day, it seems like. But then this is the only second time that I've actually met you guys. I think we met once at the Point Moulet Festival, and then I don't think I've met you, Nick, before, have I? But besides the festival there?
No, just a festival today.
So we ran into you guys last year, I want to say, because you guys just hunted south of us, and everybody was like, man, what the hell's going on, this, that, and the other. Found out who you guys are, this, that, and the other. Social media is a crazy thing, let me tell you. And, it's us and, like, the Dirty 30 guys, Justin and Ryan and Robbie. We always talk about, like, being tight with the people that hunt around us. You know what I mean? Like there's no competition because I know both of you guys when I first like introduced, I guess in a sense, myself to you guys, like you guys were like, whoa, dude, like who's this guy coming at us? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, 100%.
But like the thing is, it's like you know you always got to be. I want to be cordial with the guys that are hunting around us or help each other out, like help me, help you, kind of thing with it all.
Right.
Which is very rare to come by. I feel like.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of one of the things when that did happen and when it started was you know, you don't find that very often.
Right.
Guys trying to help other guys out, groups trying to help other groups, especially in one area that's that tight and is just how it is.
Right. Because I know, Nick, like, you know some guys that I know and stuff, but, like, I want to say it was you. You're like, yo, you followed my boy Blake. You followed me now. Like, what's up and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to help everybody out. And, you know, I'm just, you know, trying to, like I said, help everybody, help me, help you kind of situation.
Looking back at it, it makes total sense on where you were coming from. But, like, at that point, Blake just got permission on some new fields. And then you just, out of nowhere, were texting him.
Right.
You started texting me. So it was like mixed emotions.
It's
at that
weird.
Point. It was really weird. But looking
Yeah.
at it now, you know, I'm glad you did.
It's one of those things like we talked about before, like the podcast started here. I mean, we sat here for what, damn near an hour, just BS, it seemed like, with old Jerry here.
Jerry.
But it was one of those things where, you know, to be able to communicate and to talk to the people around you it's like such a big thing. And like you can't, but the problem is you can't trust anybody anymore, and that's the downside. Like the previous podcast that we just dropped with Alex, like we talked about like just such a tight knit group and stuff like that. But then there's those guys that, you know, they'll turn your back on you right away. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of Alex, I mean, I just came in contact with him through Nick. You know, I've hunted with him once, brought him out to my field one time. Great guy.
Yeah, that was the day you guys were supposed to hunt with me.
Yeah.
Because then like some stuff went on because
it was a wild night. I think.
Yeah, it was the night before. You remember that?
Plans kept getting changed up between everybody because.
Remember that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, we try to stay as a group, but try to get our hunts in to shoot birds as we can also. Yeah. So it's tough. I mean, we haven't had the birds that we had last year. No. We haven't been killing as many as we did last year. So it definitely does bring a little bit of a bad taste to our mouth being out there putting in all this work and time.
Right.
But we always like to stick to our guys, go out there and, you know, have fun out in the field. Do our little bit of arguing about the spread early before the sun rises, and
you got no idea, dude. You have no idea. That's why everybody in our group knows not to touch the decoys, because I am so, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, anal about the decoys. If one decoy is looking at me weird, I am changing it up. But Nick looks like he was going to say something. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, that the night before we were supposed to hunt together, I was waiting on your text. Mm-hmm. Didn't get a text till almost 10 o'clock at night. So before then,
here we go.
Making plans, and I didn't, want to not hunt in the morning.
You're lucky that I lost my phone out in the marsh, because I'd pull it up right now.
It was after 9 p.m. I know that.
But I told you though. That you guys were hunting with us.
Yeah, but then we never had no 100% answer, so I wasn't gonna rely on that, because if you forgot about us, if you found somebody,
I'm gonna fall back on the not knowing me as like what I got going on, which I'll understand that, but go ahead.
Oh, I lost my train of thought for a second, but yeah, we just made a plan. That whole night was kind of rough because I talked to my farmer. They said that I had no limit on a field to hunt. There was a lot of birds hitting a loaf right next to it. Hunting that field, it's pretty easy to pull them when they come back. Mm-hmm. So I had like 7 people, I think, ready to come out there. Talked to the farmer that night, and he goes that he told us they're only allowing 4. So that changed the whole plan again.
Right.
So we really had no idea what to do.
And then I text Kyle back, and he goes, "I'll let you know." And I never got a fucking text back.
Dude, okay. So I am bad at replying just because of the fact that the amount of phone calls and the people that like want to come out and stuff. And like that night, it was a very hectic night. Don't get me wrong, hectic. I don't know if I said that right, but it was one of those nights where it was like, you know, with scouting and trying to figure out the hunt for the next morning or who's going and what's going on and the game plan and the chairs or what the hide is and all this stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. So, like I said, for you guys not knowing me personally, I understand where you guys came from with that standpoint. But it's like some of these guys that are, you know, I'm not texting them till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night some nights just because it's like, you know, I got to figure out something else. And then on top of that, I got to try to do everyday stuff too. You know what I mean? But, yeah, what sucked was it was one of those hunts you guys, I wish you guys would have been there for. And yeah, it was crazy.
Trust me, we wish we would have been there too, because I think what you guys went out killed a few, and I went out by myself and killed a few, and that was it.
Yeah, I think we killed 4 that morning.
Was it?
And we were just flaring birds all day.
So who went with Alex that day?
I did.
You
Alex
did,
came
okay.
with me. Yeah,
Okay.
it was me, Alex, his girlfriend, and my girlfriend.
Okay.
I hunted by myself with a dog, and we shot 3 out of a bean field.
See, that's a special hunt though, man. Because I
Dude,
had
I love
one
those
hunt.
hunts.
Yeah, I had one like that with Ellie on the very last day of regular duck season. And it was just me and her in the afternoon. It's just one of those hunts where it's like, doesn't matter if it comes together. It's just like you and the dog.
Oh, 100%. And I would bet to tell you that every time that I go out, that it's just me and the dog, I have a better hunt than when we go out and we set all of our decoys and we
Is it
have
your
10
fault,
guys
Nick?
out there.
Yeah, probably. But it's the same thing with me. When I go out by myself, that's what I shoot.
It's just,
That's when I have like my best hunts.
that's how it works for us.
We got some guys in our group that we'll take out once in a while too. I mean, group, whatever it is, like we take them out once in a while and it's like, all right, here comes a 4-bird day. And then like the day they leave, we hunt the same field and we just pound them or whatever it may be. And it's like, dude, you got to stop coming with us, man. Like we thought it was going to be a solid one. Like Sunday, the last day of the split, we had a guy out there and it was like, I thought it was going to be a better day than we had Saturdays. Because Saturday we shot, I think, damn near 50 birds. I think we were like 2 shy of 50 birds. And he came out the second day and it was supposed to be even better. And we shot, like I said, 5. And it's like, dude, you're just ruining it for us, man. Like I like having you out here. Just you can't come out here with us anymore. You know what I mean?
That's how I am. I'm getting my girlfriend into goose hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And the day that I shot my first ever solo limit in a field. I've shot by myself 1, 2, 3, 4 birds, but I've never shot that true solo limit.
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to hunt with me in the morning,
Oh.
and I woke her up. She was like, "No, I'm gonna go back to bed. I'm tired." So she ended up going back to bed. Well, I ended up landing a group of about 100.
Oh,
Didn't
man.
even shoot at them. I just picked my head up. I was looking.
Nothing
moving
though.
around. No, I didn't even shoot at them. I just let them go.
Did you see
I
any
was so
bands or
amazed.
anything though?
That's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for a band because, that many geese, I figured there was one.
Right.
But they were, all over my decoys, all around me. I had birds.
Even
within-
that though, I mean, that's a special thing, man. Like even just like one being a new hunter and understanding not to like go crazy with that, but just enjoying that like moment. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of people that have been doing it for a few years that would just take that in. You know, like just for like you being like newer with it, like and understanding like it's more than just like the kill aspect of it all. I guess it's nice to see. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was just knowing that I did everything myself was special.
Right.
I had one group of 6
Mm-hmm.
up until I saw 6 birds up until 9:30. I pulled one bird off that group. I ended up shooting it, and then I didn't see anything, and then it was like probably between 9:30 9:45, and it was just it got hectic. There was birds everywhere. I landed that flock of, there was two big flocks that merged straight out in front of me. Every single bird put down. They were in my decoys feeding, just doing goose things.
Were there dive bombs in the spread?
Oh, yeah, I had all, it was
I
just
hate
10,
you, dude.
It was 10 dozen dive bombs and
Hate
6
you.
avian full bodies.
I hate
dive bombs and big L's over here, buddy.
Big L's I'll go with. Dive bombs. Yeah.
I've killed a lot of birds over them. But
what is your what's your deal with those?
I mean, I guess it's not even just dive bomb. It's just silhouettes in general.
It's a name thing.
It's not even like a name thing. It's just like, because I've hunted with those guys before, and good dudes. Don't get me wrong. It's just the flyway that we have. I like going for more of like the natural looking spreads, and I feel like, and me and Alex also just talked about this too the other night, where the last podcast that dropped, but it's like, you got all the birds that are coming down the flyway, and everybody and their mother has, say, 3 dozen mallard decoys and 2 spinners on the water and at least 5 dozen dive bombs in the field. Just like that, me being different, and it's just like one, it's a confidence thing for me, and 2, it's just, like I said, just being different from everybody else and separating myself, because in the beginning of the year and last year, we had opportunities of running, I think it was like 18 to 20 dozen full body decoys. Like, who else, not that we'd run that by any means, but like, who else has like the full body amount of numbers to do that? You know what I mean?
It also takes a lot to get that out in the field.
100%, which we got like we, over the years and stuff, we found out the ways to do that successfully and quick and whatever it may be. But, it's just like I said, we usually don't run over 6 to 7 dozen decoys, usually. The average that we run is probably 3 to 5, I'll say. But I just want to be like natural to the birds, match the hatch, like everybody else says, kind of that.
You're also always hunting feeds, though. You don't run as much traffic as we do. I mean, we've had hunts where we've thrown 30, 40 dozen decoys out there.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I mean, we do hunt like feeds mainly, but there are a lot of times where I might be hunting a small feed, but a bigger feed's past us, kind of thing. Or, I do have like traffic fields that we hunt and pull birds off of. Don't get me wrong. And that's kind of a big topic that I wanted to talk about tonight too, with like you guys hunting around the same area as me. Because there was one morning, there was the morning that I honked at you guys when you were out there.
Yeah, that's the morning it started snowing later that day, and we ended up killing a few geese and some mallards.
I think we ended with 8. That was the last.
No, not that. The one before that. Because I was going to come out and see you guys that day.
No, that was the good early season field.
Yeah.
Was it early season?
Yeah, that's when we shot the 25 or whatever.
Yeah, 24, 25, I think.
I don't think it was that day. He was.
Or it was another day we hunted that field, whatever.
It was a different field. It was the September field that you guys usually hunt on.
Yeah.
But the beans were cut, and you guys were hunting right on the edge of the cut corn.
Yeah, Nick wasn't out there that day. It was me. It was me, Austin, and Kyle.
So I guess the big thing is the, like, even like with the fields last year wise, now that like the reason why, like, getting together with groups around you and stuff like that, like, could you imagine if we knew you guys last year when we hunted the one field north of you guys, with you guys like south of us and you guys just hunting with us, how that hunt would have went?
It would have went great.
Like just like the number wise though, you know what I mean? Like just being able to communicate with each other on the fields and stuff, because
Yeah, 100%. That was very early on when I had gotten that permission for that field, and had been scouting out there. I actually just got my job out there, and I had been driving the back roads to look for geese, and that's when that had happened.
What? No, I'm just joking.
But
Yeah, no,
it could have turned out good, but honestly, I don't know.
Both of us did really good.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you did good. I know we did really good. Nick got his first ban out of that field that day.
Yeah, I think that's how I want to say I found you guys. Really, it was like through the page and stuff, and then I seen like the pictures and stuff. I was like, oh, that's the field that they were on and stuff. Not that I'm a e-scouter by any means or whatever, but like it was but just in general of communication with like the guys that are around you and stuff, and just joining up and helping each other in those circumstances. I'm like, just in general, those circumstances, if we would have hunted together, I mean, we just shot 50 geese that day, you know what I mean? If not more.
We would have shot more than that, and we would have shot more than just the band that we shot versus whatever you guys shot.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It was tough, especially since scouting out there, seeing as many birds.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That were out there.
It was a crazy feed that year. It was last year, right?
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah, it was January last year.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy out there, 1 and 2. It was kind of just, it was last light, I remember. I was out driving around with my buddy Vance, and I had just randomly called the farmer, and obviously you know him, and talked with him, and he's like, yeah, you guys are good to hunt it in the morning. I'm like, oh, sweet. So we hunted it the next morning, and that's when, all that stuff happened. Right. I went over there. I talked to the farmer and whatnot, and took my case of beer, had a couple beers with them, and went from there. And, we still talk to him, and that's why we're still kind of in the same vicinity.
Right.
But now that we talk to each other, it works out well. I try to let you guys know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
As much as possible on what we're doing, when we're doing it, and what we're seeing. I mean, I'm through there all the time. When I'm not out of town working, I'm up and down right there all the time.
No, which there was one point in time this season where you guys called me for the retrieve on that. And the one goose in the field.
Yeah, I called you on that one.
Yeah. Was it you that called me that?
Yes.
Okay. So
that ended up being my dog's first goose retrieve.
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah. Which alone, that's awesome for the dog, obviously. But that like conversation would have never happened if like we weren't able to like communicate the way that we do out there. Because there's only a handful of us out there that like talk and stuff like that, or that even hunt in general. So I guess the whole point of it all is you don't have to scream and cuss and do whatever to groups that are around you. It's more of just communicating.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously it's a little bit easier on the private land that
100%.
that we both have.
100%.
And I kind of want to get into, the public land type. I know you don't do too much public land.
I used to. That's how I started.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm actually getting a little bit more into it now, but going back on that, it's a lot easier on these private land spots to find out who's hunting around you. Yeah, it kind of sucks trying to figure out, going looking around, snooping who's hunting around you.
Right.
But it is good to know. It's good to know. It's good that we found you guys. It's good that you linked us up with the Dirty 30 guys, and we talked to them. They're great dudes. Everything about it is just working out.
It kind of falls back though on like the people that are around you though too, because I can't speak on every single group or area that people hunt, because there are some areas obviously like we talked about previously where you talk to them, and I was the same way with like Justin and Ryan and Robbie, like the Dirty 30, and I think what is it, Robbie, the Bangin' Waterfall Outdoors or whatever. It's hard for like the trust to start with all of that. But once the trust is like there, it's so much easier. Like there's obviously like a build up to it. Because, like I said, you can't trust just anybody that's hunting around your area. You can't give them like your little inside spots or whatever it may be and stuff. So it's obviously difficult, and I'm glad that our 3 groups that hunt around that area, like, that are so cordial. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's a very fortunate thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think, all of us hunting around each other, everybody talking, we all need to go out and grab a bite to eat together sometime. I know Blake and Justin were talking about it at one point, but I think that'll be pretty cool to get all of us together and just go sit down, talk, and
No,
go get a bite to
100%.
eat.
100%. And I don't even think it'd be a bad idea to have a handful of us even in here to do one for a podcast, just like whole thing. But yeah, bite to eat. I'm always hungry.
Yeah, do that. Little podcast, little pool, little
Yeah.
go out, do whatever. You know, I don't know. Do you golf at all? We golf.
I mean, if you want to call it golfing, I mean,
We
I
like-
hit grass. It might not be my fairway, but I'm hitting a fairway next to me, though.
We go to them indoor simulators every once in a while.
Do you? Okay,
when-
so you're
when it's
way
cold
more.
out. It's fun. No, we're not good,
No,
but it's
we're not
fun.
good at all.
I was gonna say I go out for a good time to get out of the house. I mean, summertime if I'm not on the boat, which we'll have to get together this summer and stuff like that because we go right outside the room here, on the river and hang out with all of our buddies and have fires out there and stuff like that. So we'll have to figure all that out this summer. But
Yeah, I just got a new John boat, and we got a walleye boat we can take out, whatnot. If you ever want to go walleye fishing, and
yeah, no, we should plan that out. We should plan a walleye trip out
dude,
this
you
spring.
let me know. We got everything to do it in my barn.
Yeah, no, I mean, your boat, my boat, whatever it is. Because I'm, you guys might not even know. Like, I make the jigs and everything.
You know, Nick was telling me about that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like a bunch of it, but I've definitely seen a couple posts and all that you've been posting, making jigs.
Yeah, I do all of the jigs. I do, so Troy Stokes, he's, I think he's MLF, I want to say. I could be wrong if I'm mistaken or I'm not mistaken. I apologize. But so Troy Stokes, like he's part of their Great Lakes group as well. He's one of my good buddies. He takes our fishing side of our podcast. We had a few of the fishing podcasts. He's always traveling for the tournaments and stuff like that. I think he's in Texas right now actually. But he uses them for smallmouth, and I mean it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, we should definitely plan something for sure.
For sure. We
But-
just got done planning our North Dakota trip. We're looking for a few more guys to go to take another truck and another enclosed trailer too. For next year, 2024. So
Let's keep me posted.
for sure.
Keep me posted on that. I don't know. I mean, you guys as a hunting group though too. You guys aren't really a big group, are you?
No, we got honestly, there's 4 main guys that are willing to go out, drive around, find the birds when need be, and have everything to go out and hunt. Have the decoys, have the trailers, have the layout blinds, have the A-frames.
Just out of curiosity, like with those guys that like go out and help you out, are they guys that, have the drive to do that? Like to go out and scout and
It's I mean, yeah, when they want to, they will.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things. Everybody's got their own thing that they got to do too.
right.
So it's kind of difficult. I would say for sure out of the group, I kind of pride goose hunting more than anything, rather than everybody else. I would say definitely I'm on the road more finding the birds, but I would also say everybody puts in their fair share. And when it's time to go, our other guy Austin, he's got the enclosed. Anytime that we need him to bring that, he's there with everything loaded down, everything packed nice and neat. He's got dozens of decoys. He's got everything else that we need.
'Cause, I mean, that's what's tough. Like, is finding like that core group of guys that like have that drive and stuff. Which I'm not like throwing shade on our guys. Our guys are the same way. Like, some guys do this, some guys do that, some guys, like my dad does the trailers and everything, and then these 2 guys do the blinds in the morning while I'm messing with the decoys for 3-4 hours, even past shooting light. I mean, I'm horrible about it, but it's nice to have like that core group of guys that get it all done. You know what I mean?
Blake and I are pretty bad with the decoy setting as well. Every morning we argue about something.
So what do you guys got to argue about?
Just the line
Nick just
was,
touches my fucking shit.
Yeah, dude. It's funny because like I said, there's nobody like we'll have. I mean, you guys know us or know like the group and or the pitchers or whatever. Like we have quite a few guys that come out every year, travel up to hunt with us and stuff like that, and they grab decoys and like I hear the guy like our guys in the background like, hey, don't just set him out there, don't touch him because he'll find them if you put them out there.
Just put them in a pile.
Yeah, just put them in a pile, get them a little closer to like where I want them, and then that's it. Like we're good.
My problem is I have OCD, so when I set decoys, I do it a little too neat.
So
and then he has to come behind me and fix it up. Like if I'm making, say, early season, I'm making a little family group, it's a perfect circle.
Oh, that's bad.
That's what I'm fucking. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot
that's
stand
bad.
that shit.
I'm trying to get out of it, but it's I do blinds now.
So
I mean,
so
I'll
what's
help
your
a little
spread
bit.
then? Like is just a bunch of circles out there? Are you playing tic-tac-toe or what?
Yeah, I just leave the field filled with polka dots. That or I don't know, like say we're making kind of like a little U shape, like both ends have to be even. If I'm extending one side out, I got to extend the other side out. If I'm making a leg on the left, I got to make a leg on the right.
It doesn't work.
When I hunt by myself, it works.
Okay, when he hunts by himself, it works.
Yeah, my big thing is just like going back to like that realism. I don't even make shapes. I just kind of put them out. Like honestly, our biggest hunt this year, our best hunt probably this year was, I think we had 8 decoys or 7 decoys out or something like that.
I think it was 6. You posted on your story.
Maybe it was
it
6,
said
something.
A big 6 decoy spread or something.
Yeah, it was like early
was,
season. Yeah, it was
I
a
remember
sweet
there
corn
wasn't-
field.
There was not a lot of decoys.
Yeah,
out there
no,
that day.
but like that's the thing though. It's like, you kind of just you don't need. I know guys that ran 12 decoys all year long, and that was it. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. That's my big thing is just keeping it real.
That's something. Unless we're hunting by ourselves, I don't think there's been a time this year that we've gone into the field with less than 7 dozen decoys.
Really?
Yeah, that's one thing is that we're usually throwing a big spread, but that's also because we're running traffic all
Right.
the time.
Right.
There's been we hunted one feed. Well, we've hunted a couple feeds this year, but the last feed that I hunted, Nick wasn't there. I took my dad and my brother out, and I tried throwing just a dozen decoys and looking as realistic as possible, and it kind of just backfired on me. Geese just flared me. Didn't want anything to do with it. Could have been hide. Could have been multiple different things, but I kind of just boiled it down to that and been throwing what I'm used to.
So have you guys ever thought about like a smaller spread for traffic? I know it kind of sounds crazy, but like in our area, you might have some flocks that, I feel like you got those flocks that kind of like circle to kind of see what's going on, and then they go back to the main feed of the birds. Like, have you ever thought about smaller feeds because those? I mean, every flock of decoys or decoy spread that those birds see, they're like you said, 5 to 7 dozen. If you ran a smaller like spread to make it like even if it's 30 yards out there. And just making it look like just maybe a new pack of birds came in.
It all just really depends because especially, our best field, our best couple fields are small fields. Mm-hmm. They're small. So to get to, I don't know, for how I feel is to get a bird to land in there and commit to dropping down into that small field and most of them are mainly surrounded by a tree line.
Which I will say that one field that we were talking about when you guys were hunting to the south of us.
Yeah, that's one of our best fields.
I am surprised on how well you guys do in that field.
Yeah, we are too, honestly. I think it's just because of where they come from, whatnot. But that being said, to get birds to commit to such a small field like that, I feel like I travel a lot for work, driving down the expressway. I see a lot of geese, and you see those small fields that you don't think they'd be feeding, and there's 150 sitting in there. You know what I mean?
I just had a guy the other day talk about how close he wants to get to a tree line and stuff like that, which is, fair answer, like question. Excuse me. But it's kind of crazy. Like you see live birds next to a tree line all the time, but like you throw decoy spreads out there, and it's like a complete different story. You know what I mean?
We've backed up the tree lines quite a bit. We've found that to be pretty successful for us. I think maybe not directly next to tree lines. We're usually about 30, 40 yards off of them, but we usually do pretty good setting up like that.
We've shot birds with A-frames right in the tree line as well. I mean, we've never had any bangers, but we've definitely put A-frames right in the side of tree lines and shot birds. You just got to keep the decoys, a good 30, 40 yards out.
Are you guys hunting like a lot of A-frames in the middle of the field?
This is the first year that we have committed to putting A-frames in the middle of the field, 1 and 2, consistently hunting A-frames. Like last year, we hunted A-frames once or twice. The year before that, I hunted them with buddies here and there, but I never hunted out of my own A-frame. I had my own, never hunted out of it. But this year, that small field that you're talking about, we put 3 A-frames in that tiny field, 30 yards away from the tree line. We busted them up, pretty decent.
That's a good day for you guys. Yeah,
we should have shot more than we did. Shooting was kind of bad that day, but we had a lot of birds working really good.
We shot into way more than 2 ducks. Our shots, like, we shot decent when it came to geese, but when we shot into groups of ducks, like, we had ducks do it perfect. And out of 6 guys, we didn't drop a duck.
My shot calling was also kind of bad that day.
See, the shot calling and the actual just shooting is tough, though, sometimes because of the fact that it takes, like, I deal with it every single hunt. Like, it takes literally a second when you call a shot, and by the time those guys stand up to shoot, those birds could be banking out of there, and it's like just that weird angle that they're just gone. You know what I mean?
I got my boat done last weekend for the split, and we took that out and with a buddy's boat last weekend, 2 boats out in a marsh, and we had at first sight we had a bunch of birds dumping into the decoys. It was too early to shoot, and then shooting time came, and we had a couple flocks do it, and when I was calling it, I could have swore they were 30 yards away from us, and we were in my boat. The 3 guys in my boat. The 3 guys in my boat were dumping these birds. The guys in their boat that the birds are closer to are like, they're saying that they're way too far away, that I'm calling the shot way too early, and we're like shooting past these guys, dumping these birds. So it's like it really goes to show like how fast the birds are and where they're at kind of deceives you from where like the rest of your group is if you guys are sitting, a little far away. Like, because there's times even in the fields that we kind of do pods where, like, we'll have 2 people sit 20 yards away from another 2 people. And then
really?
Yeah, there's a couple of times that we do that.
See, I guess it makes sense, too, with, like, the A-frame in the middle if you got to run traffic a lot.
We do that more with layouts. We don't really do that with A-frames. We try to look mainly like a bush line.
Okay. I was going to say, because, like, well, for us, we barely even use layouts. I mean, we might once or twice a year, and that's it. I always usually try to find the like a hedgerow or something in the field kind of, like, we can run off of. But it's also tough, though, because of, like you said, like hunting feeds. Like, the birds have been in there. They've been used to, like, what's around the field. If you guys are hunting traffic fields, like, If we're hunting our traffic field, I don't really care if someone's out of the blind. They're not used to anything there. Like they don't know anything about it, so it's easier to like get away with some stuff.
When you guys are hunting out of A-frames in a field, well, I guess really anything. When you scout that field the night before and or whenever and you see those birds sitting in the field. When you go to put an A-frame in there and you want to be on a hedgerow, do you really care about where those birds were sitting at in that field then, or do you just like...
Personally, no.
No? Okay.
I care more about the wind.
Okay.
But it also depends on...
I'm the same way because I feel like we can put the birds... I feel like if our spread's good enough and, after the first couple flocks, you can always change it if they're not liking it.
Right.
But I feel like we can always pull the birds to whatever part of the field we want to pull them to.
I mean, there's an X within the X, right? Like there's an X where like the birds want to be. We dealt with that one field that you sent me from the road on the highway.
Yep.
We had 300 ducks in that field, and none of them wanted anything to do with the mojos. They wanted to be in that one spot, and that was it. They would kind of come our way, and they would circle back right to that one spot. So that's one thing. But, you know, looking at a field or scouting a field or seeing where the birds come from the roost or the loaf, or depending on what time you're scouting, or like I like to watch the birds go back to roost to kind of see where they're going to be coming from. Not saying that all of them are going to come from there, or not all of them are going to stay there all night. They might jump roost throughout the night. Right. You know, yeah, like you said, you throw enough decoys out, you throw in a good enough spread out there, calling, obviously, you can make them birds kind of do whatever you want to do. But the wind is obviously a huge thing too. With, can I get a little bit closer to where they want to be and do a cross shoot instead? Do I go a little bit further away and they're coming right onto us? But, you know, as much as obviously everybody likes birds coming right onto you, I feel like the more successful hunts are cross shoots, honestly, because they're not finishing right into your hide. Because let's face it, you're going to have one or two guys or three guys, whatever it is, pie facing the geese, and they're going to pick you out like turds in a punch bowl. You know, it's the hide is literally everything.
You get people that I've noticed a lot too that they get super excited when geese are coming in and they want to have their heads out.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be focusing on where these birds are and not listening to, you know, the one person that can
right.
get, you know, a decent eye on them through the grass and they're, you know, in the layout.
Yeah.
And they just want to see everything, and that's, you know, they move around looking around, and that just flares a lot of birds at that point. So like with what you said with the cross shooting, is they have barely any, if not, you know, any focus at all on you.
Right.
And you're just completely out of the way. They have no clue you're there.
It's a very frustrating thing on my standpoint for like scouting and like putting in that work for that field, and then having guys, you know, and you really can't blame them for getting excited, because if you don't get excited for that, then you probably should stop hunting. But to have those guys do that, it's like, listen, like, I just spent hours and hours and hours on the road doing this to try to make it the best hunt. Like, what I try to tell, like, usually I have like a little prep talk before like the hunts, even if it's guys that, you know, hunt with us before or whatever it may be. Like, hey, if the dog's out, I don't care what's going on. Nobody's shooting unless I'm shooting, you know, lanes, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's the way you want the hunt to go, then yeah, keep looking out. Because if you don't want it to be a successful hunt, then, you know, it's pretty simple to do. And it sucks because like you don't want to be that dick that's telling everybody what to do or sound like a dick, but it's like, listen, you, like, for us anyway, you got 9-10 other guys out there, and you're going to ruin the hunt for everybody else. Like, if you want to know where the birds are or where you're supposed to stand up, which I usually say, like, you know, take them on the left, or at least try to anyway. Look at the guy calling. And usually I'm the only one calling, or maybe another guy, or my dad calls, whatever. But look at the guy calling, because obviously he's got a beat on where the birds are. And topping that, though, understanding like bird language and what they're doing or how they're responding to certain stuff, that's another like deal breaker for field hunting. Like, understanding, like, okay, that bird just did that kind of thing in the air, like, they're coming in. Like, I'll be able to look at a flock and be like, yeah, they don't want nothing to do with us. Or I'll look at a flock and like, they're kind of interested, but they're not, you know, completely set yet. And then there's those certain flocks, which we had a lot that one time, like the hunt that we were talking about when you guys were south of us. There was birds locked up 2 miles away, just gliding in, and they would come right on top of you guys, that like coming towards us, and you guys would shoot at them or whatever. But like, just example wise, like they were coming, and you don't want to blow them off from your calling or anything. Just let them keep coming. You know what I mean? Like just let them soar right in, you know? So bird language and understanding birds is a huge thing in the field.
100%. I feel like we see that a lot in the field with us, going back to, you know, people having their faces up and whatnot, people getting excited. It's kind of difficult being the guy that's calling and watching the birds, because you're calling and you're also worried about these 7 other guys that are in the blinds keeping their heads down. You're yelling out, "Hey, heads down!" in the middle of your calling. You're trying to catch your breath. You're trying to keep your eyes on the birds, trying to figure out, watch their body language, figure out what they're gonna do, all at the same time. Yeah, you want these guys to have the experience and to see these birds and whatnot, but you gotta understand that you gotta give a little to get a little. You know, maybe not seeing 2 flocks is gonna get you that 1 flock. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a good thing to always keep in mind for sure.
And the problem is like, especially, you know, I'm sure you guys have dealt with it too, with being in that area. A lot of these flocks that they'll follow, you know, maybe a quarter mile behind the next flock. So if that 1 flock doesn't do it, and maybe not every flock does it like that, but if that 1 flock doesn't do it and flies off, guess what that next flock's doing? Flying right with them, because they know that flock didn't do it, and they've been feeding there for a week or whatever it may be, you know, and that's the crappy part about it all.
We notice that a lot running traffic if there's the small field that we hunt, you'll have birds everywhere. You'll have flocks working us, and then you'll get that random 2-pack that comes from behind you, and just they're on a mission to go to, you know, the loaf, the feed,
right,
you know, a different feed, whatever, and then every bird just turns and flies right with them. And all it takes is just, you know, 1 or 2 geese that don't care to pull another 40, 50, 60, you know, sometimes 100.
Well, it's just a confidence thing. Like, I've always been told too, like, even if mallards per se were flying away from you, call it that back duck. Don't look at the lead duck, that back duck. And I couldn't even say it about geese too. That back bird can turn that entire group around. You know, once in a while you'll just break a few off or whatever, but that back bird can really give you that leverage on that. Like, because a lot of people just stop calling after, like, they get so far or whatever. I mean, granted, if they're 2 miles away, don't just call at them or whatever, but they're 60, 70, 80 yards away leaving you, and you know they're leaving you, and understanding that they're leaving you, that back bird can turn a flock in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? There's so like that. Like I said just a second ago, the bird language is like, and understanding, like, just even like the wing beats of stuff. Like it can be crazy towards a hunt.
Yeah, I mean, you can have, like you were saying, that flock of 60. You can have a middle bird that just breaks off randomly,
right?
And dumps in, or, you know, that 1 bird turns to the right and is flying away from you. Now, 1 bird takes for another, you know, 20.
Right.
And it's just all eyes on that bird. Everybody's following that one.
But I will say too, though, like, you can't, like, what's this saying? Beggars can't be choosers with birds. Like, I was very bad in the beginning with learning everything with, oh, we're gonna let this group land, and then we're gonna shoot it back into that back group. You know what I mean? And then how many times has it happened where birds coming in, they get about 40 yards out, and they're, like, still locked up. They hit that 35, 30 marker, and you're still letting them come in because you want to shoot at that. You're going to lay in those birds, and you shoot at that back group too for more birds in front of you. And that group banks out, and you shoot 1 bird, and then the other group's gone too. You know what I mean? How many times does that happen?
Yeah, I've got videos of it on our TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, you got to take what
we are huge. Take what you can get.
Right.
We're not sky blasters. We don't go out there sky blasting everything that we can. But we do take what we can get. If it's decoying, if it's within 40, 50 yards, we are shooting them.
Yeah. No, you have to be. You have to be.
But one question I kind of had for you, going back to A-frame hunting and whatnot, is if you guys use like flags or flappers or any motion in your goose decoy spreads.
Mm-hmm. Do we?
Yeah, do.
We use flags all the time, yeah.
Flags all the time. Do you guys use flappers at all?
We have a flapper, and we only use it on certain occasions.
What are those occasions? Because I have 2, and I've never used them. Is it
really bad weather days?
I use them on like the no wind days, because then it's kind of showing the geese like where to. Okay, so personally, I'm not a big fan of them. Personally, not saying they don't work, but the geese are going to come in and see a goose with like just the wings spread out all the time. You know what I mean? Like you got to know, like if you have the flapper, are they on remotes?
Yeah, I have them both linked up to my remote. I've never used them.
So you have to be like, I don't know who calls or anything like that in your guys' group, but if you have the remote, that's your job during the hunt. You know what I mean? Like so like even like duck hunting wise, like, you know, ducks are banking out or ducks coming in and they keep on flaring or whatever it may be. I'll turn the flashers on or off, like the mojos off when they're coming in. And if they're like banked back out, I'll turn them on real quick to get their attention again. And then I'll turn them back off if we're banking back in. Like there's certain things that you have to learn with those. But I use them on no wind days so that the other geese kind of know where to or how to land into it.
So you use it like a mojo. You kind of just line it up with where you want the birds to be facing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
If that's for me though. I'm not going to say that's the best way to do it.
That's just what's worked for you.
That's what's worked for us. Yeah,
I got a good deal on Facebook Marketplace for 2 of them. I got them for $200.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, I just jumped on them. I got them. If I use them, I use them. If I don't, I don't.
Right.
I've just never taken them out. I don't know if it's, if you use it like a flag at birds far away, if you keep it going coming in. I guess I got to use them to learn. So I can always pull them.
And that's the biggest thing. Like over time, you're going to learn so much more than just in a year's standpoint. Not saying just a year for you, but like it might take 3-4 years for you to learn exactly how to use that flapper and a lot of error with that flapper to be able to understand that. Like it's almost like getting a new dog. It's like when Ellie was young, my black lab, I would say, listen guys, like, she's young. I'm going to send her out there. She might not pick up the bird or anything, or it might take a while for her to pick it up, and she might burn a flock or two. And, obviously, hopefully we get some more birds coming in after the fact. But that's it. Like I'm teaching her to bird hunt. And if you guys can't understand that, then you have no business sharing a field with me. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things where it'll make you better in the long run, but the people with you have to understand that as well and have that mindset to it all. I'm not saying a flapper is good on every single hunt, but in certain hunts, it might be good. But like I said, it might be those couple of years where you understand that though too.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try them just because, I spent money on them.
Mm-hmm.
I got them, use them. I just don't want to be that guy to go out there and, burn a couple flocks because of I'm not using them correctly.
You can't have the mindset of I'm going to be that guy to burn a few flocks though, because
I'll get yelled at.
Bullshit. We are constantly burning flocks all the time, and it's mainly because I'm out of the blind.
I'm the same way. Way.
Or it's because I decide to pick up early, and then that's when the geese finally decide to run.
That's for everybody, though.
Dude, I cannot tell you how many times that has happened to us this year, and it's been my fault.
Yeah, it's for everybody. It's not just for you though. Trust me.
That's insane.
It's just like I said. It's just one of those things where like the waterfowl hunting, and you can even go deer hunting as well, or any kind of hunting. It's a trial and error kind of thing where the guys that you're with have to understand that. And honestly, the worst thing about it is social media, which is a good and bad thing because like I've met a lot of great people with social media, and just like how you guys met. But it's also a terrible thing. Just, I mean, you got these pile pictures from these guys and stuff, and everybody thinks they got to represent that or shoot that to get known. And I was just telling somebody last night, I forget who I was telling, like, I don't want to be known by like the pile pictures or anything. I just want to be known like as a decent hunter, if anything. You know what I mean? Like, none of this publicity, none of that matters. And I think, I'm not saying this because this is how I want to get known, but like that's going to get you a lot further than being that cocky, arrogant guy or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't shoot a lot of birds. Our Instagram pages are basically just for people to, see what goes on around Southeast Michigan.
Right.
You
right.
know,
you're doing it for the right reasons is basically what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to text us, know what it's about. I've had a couple people text me on the Instagram page about hunting up north, hunting out in Wisconsin, hunting in Indiana, doing whatever, and it's nice to just meet people, and that's kind of what I feel like we use it for. We don't shoot a lot of birds, we don't shoot piles of birds, but we go out there, we have a good time, and we do get some really good videos.
Yeah,
we make some cool TikToks out of them. I got the dog. He just turned 2 this year in October, and
we'll have to do some training with the pups this summer.
Oh, 100%. I'd love for that. He's more of a house dog than anything. I travel for work, so he has a lot of time at home by himself, sadly. But when I am home, we're always making the time out of it. I got him out last weekend. We're gonna get him back out this weekend. He's getting better with the cold. Last year, dude, anything under 40 degrees, he would just sit out there shivering, and it was too brutal for him. He didn't like it. But this year, he's getting to enjoy a little bit more and waiting for the birds.
Once it clicks for the dogs, like with having, I'm obviously no dog trainer by any means, but when like every dog obviously has a personality, and every dog you have to understand that personality. Like you can't buy another dog and treat it the same way you do with your dog. So, like once it clicks for those dogs though, they enjoy it a lot more. You know what I mean? Like once everything starts like this is his first year actually hunting, and you could just see, like, even during hunts and stuff where we had a couple hunts and it's like, dude, what are you doing right now? Like, what to do. And then it like clicks back for him. And it's like such a gratifying, like it's so nice to see that kind of stuff pan out.
Yeah. You can tell that they're proud of themselves too.
Right.
And that's probably the most enjoying part. And that's probably one of the most enjoying parts about bird hunting is now having that. That companion out there with me all the time. There's a lot of times we don't take him out because there's too many guys out there. My dog, he's not trained by anybody. Mm-hmm. I trained him. He'll go out
same
there.
Here.
He'll go out there. He'll get the birds. He breaks. He does break. We're gonna work on that a lot this off season. But he's been breaking a lot this year.
Check cords. Do you do that or no?
No.
So
I haven't yet.
We got a Dakota blind. Not to cut you off, but we have a Dakota blind for Rip here. Which has actually got a door on the front side of it.
I looked into it, and I was going to get that for him, but I felt like he's such a big dog that he'll just bust straight through it.
So, like, with him being a smaller dog, it obviously helps out a lot with him. Ellie, the black lad, doesn't, like, really fit into that very well. So I got the Momarsh blinds and stuff. But what I'll do is I'll tie, the dog gun, is it dog gun channel? Gun dog stuff. They got a quick release where you can tie them up by a leash to like the blind, and then they only leave if you pull the string to release it. And if I don't have that on me, I'll literally just tie a leash around her blind. So if she jumps down, she's still getting like caught, and then her realizing like, oh, I got a little too excited, and it'll stop all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely need to work on that.
Because it's a safety thing at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
I'm going to kill somebody if they shoot the dog. You know what I mean?
And, well, at first, and like when we hunt by ourselves, when it's just me and the dog, it's completely fine. It's just when
you trust yourself. It's your dog.
Well, No, he doesn't break when it's just me and him.
Oh, okay, I got you. It's just all
it's when there's
gunshots.
15 shots
I
going
gotcha.
off. So it's like it's something that we definitely got to work on, and that I just haven't had people over,
Right.
to work on that kind of stuff yet.
Last year to this year, though, he's definitely getting a lot better on it.
100%. Last year he wouldn't even stay in the blind the whole hunt. This year, I tell him to stay one time, he won't move. So.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, it just like for us in the dogs, it takes time for them to. I mean, for us, we're weekend warriors. We're not out there every single day. We're not running clients or anything like that. So it's tough to really get them in the groove of stuff, and none of us have the time to work with them every single day or whatever it is. So it gets tough, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody who doesn't have a dog and just hunts with people, like looking at the outside looking in, like I feel like as a dog owner, you have to understand if a dog is perfect and then makes one little mistake, because they're just like humans. Everybody makes mistakes, but I can't look at that as like owning a dog for myself. Because I can.
I was gonna ask you that. Have you thought about it? Find a lab or
Yes.
I've tried talking him into it.
My girlfriend and I have been trying, but I live with her and her parents. They got their dogs. I can't bring one in. My parents, they got the dog I've had since I was a kid. They got a boxer pit. She's got bad hips, so it's not fair for her to bring a puppy in.
Right.
She jumps off the deck in the backyard. She hurts her hips.
Right.
She's limping around. So to have a puppy running around, she's going to want to play with it. She's going to hurt herself. So as of right now, no, I can't. But the second I can, I'm getting a dog.
What kind of dog do you want?
I want a black lab. I don't know why. That's just what I want. I don't know.
You
I
a
like.
beer?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him if you're done talking.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because I'm actually gonna
Grab me a Busch Light.
I'm gonna pause this for a second and take a pee break. All right, I'm back from my little pee break. We're just talking about dogs. Now I'm sidetracked on meat because we just ate some. What was that? Venison?
Venison. Yep. Venison sausage.
That's some good stuff.
We made that up. A little bit of jalapeno and pepper jack. That one got a little teriyaki for you to take home.
Oh, you ain't got to do all that, man. I appreciate it though.
Got a freezer full, homie. You're doing me a favor by taking it.
All right. If you're gonna pull my leg, might as well give it to Jerry.
Oh shit.
Good old Jerry. Nick, you were just talking about like the early season though, which we might have got just off the topic of what we were talking about before. I half the time we do these podcasts, I forget to wear like the Depends and stuff like that. I always thought myself I'm gonna wear just like Depends and not have to take a piss break halfway through it. Forgot them today. Forgot them usually all the time, but if we're off topic, it is what it is. Talking about early season though.
Yeah, with how our early season went, and I had a pretty good hunt, and I wasn't with Blake. But how early season went.
Of course I wasn't with him.
Yeah.
I don't bring shit to the table.
With how our early season went, I thought this was going to be, a really good year.
Mm-hmm.
We were constantly, on birds. We shot the 24. What was that? Like that opening
was
weekend?
my field, by the way.
Yeah, that was. I
his
remember.
field.
I know exactly where the field was.
Yeah.
That was my field.
But I shot. I think it was the day after that or the weekend after that. I shot 14. We shot 14 migrators on a sunny day.
The day before you shot that 14, we shot a few in a band.
Yeah, we shot
Was
a few in
that
a
when we were
band.
pigeon hunting? When you shot the 24?
Say it again.
When
where you were pigeon hunting?
When we were pigeon hunting?
When?
It could have been. I know you drove by us that day because you texted me and asked if we saw you.
I don't remember if.
Because I drove by with the trailer. We were just hunting north of you for pigeons.
Was it for pigeons? I knew you were
You
hunting.
took an entire trailer pigeon hunting?
The A-frames.
Oh, okay.
So I might as well just take the trailer instead of
Yeah.
the
That makes sense now.
yeah.
I don't. Did you? I remember you drove by in your car. Was it that day?
It's a truck, dude.
That's
No.
a truck?
Yes.
No, I almost maybe it was a different day.
I remember.
know.
I think
I
it
don't
was
remember.
that day because I know you texted me asking if
There's
we
a fuck
shot
ton of
any.
pigeons in that field, though, too.
Oh, dude, pigeon hunting's like one of my favorite things to do. Have you guys ever chased them?
No, we were talking
Oh
about it though.
my
We
God,
actually
dude.
want to.
We shot a few this year. I shot one banded pigeon this year.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was actually off my barn at home. It was just randomly landed there.
Really?
Shot. It was a white pigeon, white and gray. It was banded.
I've got like 5 or 6 pigeon bands, dude. But I'm telling you right now,
They're fun.
they decoy as good, if not better, than ducks do.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. It's something that we definitely want to try.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to get together here soon then.
Yeah, no, let us know.
There's
I mean,
spot you got to jump shoot some birds off of. The farmer wants me to get them off there, so maybe I'll hit you.
There's actually a few sitting on a power line at one of my fields this afternoon.
Did I just say a location?
Yeah, you did.
Did you?
Yeah, I gotta go jump shoot some birds out of there though.
Yeah, shoot us a text. Let us know. That's
Yeah,
something that, like I
will.
said, we've talked about it. I've always wanted to try it. It looks fun, watching YouTube videos and all that.
It's a blast, dude. It's a blast. But no, not because I remember like hearing gunshots and stuff one day when we were pigeon hunting it, and I seen you guys in the field that field, and I just didn't know if it was that field or not that you guys hunted on.
Yeah, I want to say
seeing
that was the day we shot the 24.
It was that field. It was that field.
99.9% positive because
Okay.
we hunted that field probably 3 or 4 times after that. Shot. I mean, we didn't ever hunt that good, but we shot birds out of it pretty much every time.
Okay.
They kept coming back.
Well, the other time that you drove by that we were set up in the beans there,
That might have been it then.
That might have been.
Yeah, because you guys were set up right on the hedgerow,
I don't remember. There's
right on the bean.
So we hunted that wheat 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And we hunted the beans once or twice.
I didn't hunt the
Well,
beans
no.
with
It
you.
was standing beans, and you guys.
Yeah,
were
so
hunting
that
on the
was
side of
that
it.
was early
Okay,
season.
Yeah, that was early season.
Yeah, that's the best because when we hunted there, we did the same exact thing. We hunted right on the side because other than that, there's really no good hide there.
I didn't even know that you guys ever hunted there. I didn't
Well,
know.
and I think that was kind of the deal breaker when I like said that to you guys, because like you're like I remember talking to you and you guys were kind of and obviously like I know like when someone's standoffish and not saying much or whatever it is. And I was like, yeah, dude, like I've hunted there last year or whatever.
That was with me because I remember
Was it
you
with
sent
you?
you sent me a
Okay.
picture of it, and that's why I texted him and I said, dude, like.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how this happened, but if you hunted it in the past, I'm like, but here's a picture. I sent Blake the picture of that. I
Okay.
think you
So
sent.
you-
me.
I kind of felt bad after that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that anybody
Oh,
had
no,
ever hunted it once.
Listen, dude, like it's one of those things where it's like it's that is a prime example on why people need to be like talking with their property owners or landowners or whatever it may be, not just during season.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But so like yeah, don't feel bad. But like I feel like not to cut you off there. That was like a turning standpoint with like understanding I wasn't there to
Yeah,
take stuff. You know what I mean?
I think after that we both understood it. We just both kind of felt bad because you sent me a picture with birds in that field,
Right.
and I sent it to him, and I was like, I don't know how. Obviously, that was his gig. I don't know what happened, but on the outside looking in, kind of hunting with him all the time, I kind of felt bad. I know he said he felt bad.
No, it was.
Well, it was just one of those things where, like, you ask a
You don't want to be
farmer-
that guy.
You really
right,
don't.
right,
Like
right.
we're not out here to be those guys. We're not out here to step on anybody's feet. We're not out here even to go out and kill a shit ton of birds.
Right,
We're out here
right.
to go have fun. We grind, we put the time in. That's fun to us.
We're putting honest work in. We're doing what we can to find the birds.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, even before, excuse me, you knew us. I can almost probably guarantee you that you've asked on our main farm.
100%. I have.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's
So have fucking 10 other people too.
100%. But it's just one of those things where the communication and understanding like the groups and it just goes all back to that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it
and-
doesn't have to be a war out there. It could just be a friendly thing like now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what you said about talking to the farmers, I mean, like you said, who knows somebody else could have permission for that field too, knowing how that. I mean, just like how the farmers are. There's some farmers that'll just lend out permission to a few,
it sucks,
a few
man.
groups. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things that you just kind of got to be cautious about.
Yeah.
And that's really why you got to stay in touch because
Which
I know. I called. I've talked to him a few times over the last couple of months just to make sure that we're still good to go and that he knows my name.
Right.
I just
right.
want him to have my name in his head. That
No,
way,
it's
if
big.
somebody asks,
Right, that's big because I mean that's the reason why you gotta. I mean you don't have to, but like Christmas gifts or after season gifts, just like that appreciation, or like you said, having a beer or whatever, sitting down with the farmer or whatever it is, just showing them that you appreciate everything and just even if they don't need it and you know they don't need it, but just saying, hey, if you ever need a hand, like just you got my number, let me know. I'll come out and help whenever like I can and this, that, and the other. Like it goes a long way with those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then texting them randomly, just hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you and your family. How you guys doing?
It goes further than most people think because let's face it, we've all been there. We've all had farmers or landowners or whatever, and you talk to them 3 months out of the year, and then you forget about it, and then you go back there the next year, and you're like, wait, I don't have permission anymore. Like, what's up?
It's not even random farmers either. It's people that you know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I got farmers that are buddies with my dad that I see all the time that hand out permission to other people. So you got to make sure that you stay close with those guys too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It's a big thing that not a lot of people think about because they think about. I mean, even the people that we've talked about even before the podcast started was just because you got so-and-so's permission doesn't mean you got it year after year after year, or you know what I mean?
A farm owner, or the farmer and the landowner is two different things. Not every
100%.
landowner is the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that we've ran into this year. I called on a few fields early season, and I get a hold of the landowner. They're leasing it out to the farmer, and they're asking me to ask the farmer. Do you run into that?
I have before, yes. I have before.
I don't know where to go from there because I asked the farmer, and they're like, well, ask the landowner. And then I asked the landowner, and it's a sicky situation, and I don't go into I won't just go hunt.
I stand out like the properties that you were talking about, like that share properties. I don't deal with like that at all. Like I unfortunately have ran into it a few times this year. I've ran into it, but it also goes back to like the communicating and that way we're not going out there because I've had times where I've gone out there and 7 o'clock rolls around and 7:10 is shooting light and people have came up onto our field and they're like, well, we got permission, and it's like, we're here, like you guys got beat, like we're literally set up right now, and they're like, well, we're either hunting with you or true story. They come up, they're like, we're hunting with you or 100 yards away from you, so you guys pick what you guys want, and we're like, okay, so you're obviously hunting with us. I'm not gonna have you set up 100 yards away from us. First volley of birds come in. They blow apart one of my decoys. Yeah, and it was just like, dude, are you kidding me right now? I haven't seen the guy since, luckily, but it was actually just south of your guys' one field. The field, it was the field that you guys got the goose out of.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was that field.
I think one of Nick's decoys gotten blown apart this year too.
Yeah, it was just a dive bomb though, so it's all right.
See, those things, they get blown up, they're fine.
I got a bunch of them that they just peppered with holes.
The heads don't come off.
I'll tell you a funny story right here. So opening day of goose season or duck season, we hunted our flooded corn, which you guys probably seen the video of the geese coming in and whatnot. Yeah. So one of our guys in our group, love him to death. We had these geese that land, and it was one of those things where like I knew they were like that committed, and our hide was that good where they're not gonna see us at all, you know. So a flock comes in. I was like, we're shooting at that back flock when they come in, you know. First flock comes in. Second flock starts dragging their toes against the water. Call the shot, and Jimmy stands up, aims right at one of our decoys, and he thought it was a goose. Rolls a stupid decoy over, and then like his eyes after the fact are like this big, like, oh my god, I just shot one of the decoys, and like we're so anal about the decoys and like keeping them clean and stuff. It was the funniest. Like you have to know Jimmy to like know how funny it actually was and stuff like that. But I think we ended up shooting like 21 geese out of that volley. It was insane.
Jeez.
But it was the funniest thing I've ever seen out into the field. It was just, I don't know, it was hilarious.
That's one of those things that in the moment's kind of annoying, but looking back at it, it's just a funny memory that you guys have. Everybody on that hunt has, you know, forever.
I think everybody there was like dying laughing just because it was that one guy. Because like you always have like that like jokester clown kind of guy in your group.
Austin.
But if it was somebody else, he probably would have died. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, it was just because he did it, it was just hilarious. You know what I mean?
That's like, you know, if it's different between your buddies, but say you took Blake and I out there and, you know, I was the one who shot your decoy.
Oh, so you're saying I'm going to shoot you?
We-
See,
we-
he's just set me up there. I caught on to that real quick. No, you caught.
But that's what I'm saying though, is like your buddy compared to somebody you're just taking
No, 100%.
out.
No, I get what you're saying.
Way different.
I get what you're saying.
We jumped Nick.
Got to do what you got to do.
He said it, not me. No, I'm just joking.
Not his first time he said that.
I won't be the last.
No, no. No, I think I got a deal on Marketplace for most of my decoys, for most of my full bodies, and I kind of think that was kind of the way to go with it. Especially, we've had probably 3 or 4 guys just this year that have gone out and killed their first goose.
Which is such a sweet thing to like be a part of.
We've taken out at least 4 people this year, 4 to 6 people this year, and got them their first birds. And that is probably the most. I mean, that's got to be one of the coolest things out there.
That's one of my favorite things. Like, you know, I'm lucky enough to say, like, you know, we're fortunate enough to have some of these hunts that are like hunts that people die for. I mean, how Saturday we hunted and we almost shot 50 birds the one day. You know what I mean? It's just that a lot of the guys don't understand like how fortunate we are to be able to kill or hunt properties like that, I should say. And to be able to take the people out that actually appreciate those kind of hunts, or maybe they get out 2 or 3 times a year, whatever it may be, and you just see the excitement on their face. Like, that makes a hunt. I don't even got to pull a trigger. Just that makes a hunt right there.
100%. And we've had that a few times this year. But on the other side of the spectrum is going out. You get out there, and even just this past weekend we had it happen. You get out there, somebody's not throwing decoys, somebody's not touching a damn thing.
Yeah.
Not going out.
You can say it, dude. It's a rated R podcast.
Going out and putting the decoys out, getting the blinds set, putting the boat in the brush, you know, any of that. We had that happen this weekend, and that kind of got, you know, you can ask Nick. I got on somebody's tail about it this weekend, and it's just we go out and do this work, being a buddy. One of the guys in our group, that helps us out quite a lot. He does a lot of driving for us, whether it's him going out checking a couple fields that I sent him the pins for, or he picks me up and goes out driving. He's a younger guy, Connor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know where I was going with that.
Helping out, like spreads and.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, I mean, Connor, he's a younger dude. He'll get out. He'll help us. He'll pick us up. He'll do whatever. But we get out into the marsh this last weekend. We had a guy woke up late, called us. Hey, you guys gonna still be there for me? I took an extra boat drive back in to go get him. Go pick him up. Go out there. We throw all the decoys. We go out there. We do the scouting. Connor went out there, scouted with me. Took the boat out and whatever. Mind you, I just got this boat done. Just got the trailer done. Just got everything done. Got all this done for the split, so everybody could go out, have a good time.
You're sending me Snapchats of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's not just you that's going out there looking for the good time either. You know what I mean? Like we had 5 other guys going out there looking for a good time. Then we have somebody not helping us, which me and Nick got on them pretty good.
Them kind of situations are tough because, like, obviously it happens with the best of us at sometimes, and that's why you have a solid group of guys to be able to help you out in those situations. But if you're late, like, or not helping scouting, whatever it may be, like, at least, buy us a lunch or something, you know what I mean? Like, just like the little payback kind of thing. Because like I said, like it kind of goes back to like the hunts that we have. Like, so fortunate to be able to have hunts that people are paying $300, $400 a hunt, which we're taking them out, and they're happy but not that happy about it. It's like, well, dude, like, did you even realize what we just did? You know what I mean? And there's some hunts where it's like, I'll even tell myself, like, dude, like, how can you even question yourself about it? But it's like, I'm so worried about everybody else being happy about it all. But it's, I got to put myself back into that mindset where it's like, you can't, worry about everybody else. As long as you're happy, then you're good.
See, that's my thing. I feel like as a guy kind of, there's a few guys that lead the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Nick and I primarily lead the group. And as the guy leading the group, going out there, even I would rather you be like, hey, I'll get out there on Friday and I will go check whatever you need me to check, or I will do whatever you need me to do, rather than taking me out for lunch. I need a little bit of help doing this shit. I don't think people see the amount of work that goes into goose hunting, trying to be consistently on birds every weekend. It's not even about killing the birds every weekend. It's about just being on them, near them, around them. You know what I mean?
That's a big thing too. Where like I will say our group lacks on the drive of wanting like so. I enjoy scouting and finding the birds, like, I guess, studying the birds on how they are out in the field or where they're flying from, where they're flying to after they feed, whatever it may be. Small details, right? That's like my fix. Our group lacks on people wanting to do that. They want to shoot. Or want to, like, why don't you tell me to go scout? And it's like, well, I don't want to tell you to go scout. You should want that for yourself. And I'm not, like, sad to say that because it's the truth. And, it gets difficult after a while because of, doing all this work and stuff, which, the guys this year have helped me out a little bit here and there. And I can't dog them on that, but it's just the fact of, I think I send you guys Snapchats of it. Like, I get home, halftime I change, jump in the truck, and I'm on the road scouting. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
I can easily say that I don't know of anybody in the area that puts in more work than you do. 100%.
It's
You put in a lot of work, and I see it on a daily basis, 100%.
Just from your Snapchats, it's, because not everybody sees your Snapchats. You don't post on your story, but from what we see in the background, it's every day.
There's a lot of stuff that I don't post on Snapchat, though, too, just because, like, over time with, like, the how many times you guys see pile pictures of, like, people or whatever it is, whatever it is, and like I said in the beginning of the podcast, like, it's like not about that for me. To like I did the one this past weekend about the pile picture, but like I barely post like on my story about pile pics or feeds or whatever's going on. Like I'll send some stuff to like you guys or whatever it is. But I don't know, like the Snapchat, like for me, it's like I said, I don't want to be known for the guy that's just the pile guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I am, but I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to explain, I guess, in a way.
I have a private story on Snapchat that I have all my buddies on, and I post a lot of my hunting stuff on that.
Oh, thanks for adding
not-
me, dude. Piece of shit.
I'm pretty sure you're on it.
Am I?
I think so.
Look it up
I
right
don't-
now. Look it up.
You might be.
Yeah, there we go.
Might
No,
be.
Yeah,
hold on.
exactly. There we go.
I know you're on my private story.
Am I?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, look at that, Nick. Look at that, Nick. Wow. Now he's going to add me real quick.
I'll leave it right here.
Did you add me?
No, you're not in it.
Nah, gotcha.
Now you are.
I'm just messing with
I
you,
know.
but
Now
it's
you
just it's just one of those things where like, you know, like you can't take the birds and everything for like the publicity or anything like it. The stuff doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? But I do thank you guys for like, I guess realizing it, like how much work that I do put in and actually see that and stuff. You know what I mean? Because like. There's not guys around us, I feel like you said, like that put the work in and are that successful as us out there. But like that's why we are, though. You know what I mean? Like that's the work that, and granted, like you guys got to work, you guys got to travel for work, whatever it may be. That's what it takes, though, and that's why it sucks when I do that kind of stuff and then people don't realize that in the group. And then it just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Oh, next year's going to be fun. I got about 10 different spots and about 6 different states to hunt next year from farmers, from work. So
that will be kind of fun, though.
we can bounce around next year. And I think that's kind of the plan, especially with depending on how next year starts out. You know, this year started out really well, and then it just, for us, progressively has gotten worse. We have not put up the numbers that we want to. 1, 2, we haven't been out hunting as much as we want to just because it's been so deceiving.
A lot of the birds are still north, though, man.
Oh,
they really
100%.
are.
Canada's not froze over yet. There's so many videos on TikTok of these, 4, 5, 6,000 bird feeds up in Canada. And I mean, last year for the 2-day, half the lake was frozen.
Right.
I know guys who, Alex last year, him and his buddy, they had to break out the entire launch just to get their boat out there. I mean, for the 2-day, I ended up duck hunting that day, but I had a 700 bird feed that I was saving for so my girlfriend could hunt and, we could get everybody together and hunt that.
Right.
Well, that's that field that another group has permission on, and they ended up hunting it.
Oh, dude, I was sleeping out there.
Yeah, I wanted deep down, I wanted to hunt it, but I wanted to wait and make it a hunt where everybody was there. And it was one of those things that I probably shouldn't have waited. I should have hunted it, especially with that many birds.
This year's tough, though, too, because I don't know if I've seen one feed in a bean field. Usually we have quite a few bean field feeds around here, but all of our bean fields this year, I should say, like, speaking for myself in a sense, all my fields got tilled under, like, right away.
I was going to say, I've seen a lot of tilled over bean fields. And we are very, very lucky with the farmer that we have because not a single one of his bean fields are tilled over, and that's what we've been killing them out of somehow.
So, but it's crazy, man.
Dude, I've never been confident out of killing out of beans.
Oh, I love it's a love-hate relationship. Let me put it that way.
I like beans in the snow and beans after it rains.
Well, in the snow, it's fine.
That's tough to say.
I have one of my really good fields. The field that I shot the solo limit out of this year was a bean field. Since it's been cut, it's been fed out of constantly. I mean, I've hunted it a couple different times. I mean, those birds in that area are tough.
Because it's I'm not saying it's bad, like what you're saying though, but like beans after the rain, they get like a fungus on them, and that's when the geese leave those bean fields and like they like the beans itself, like the droppings or whatever you want to call it, you get like a fungus on them, so the geese stop feeding there. And that's the only reason why I say that beans after rain, like it might be a day or two or whatever, it might be a week when the fungus like grows on it, but that's usually what tends to happen towards
I
it.
never knew that.
Yeah, I never knew that either. But that's the thing is that the field that I shot my total limit out of, there was not a single bird feeding in it, and it rained. And then next thing you know, I looked out there one day and there was 300 birds in that field. And we ended up hunting it I hunted it the next day, and that's when I shot my solo limit.
That kind of stuff makes sense though, because it was like the day after or whatever, and they're still in there, or you get that rain, they're flying around a lot or whatever it may be. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that might be a reason why birds might be in there a day and then they're gone. You know what I mean? Like, just because that rain hits and
Yeah, that makes sense.
the fungus is there, and then they're just gone because there's food there, but it's not. I guess in a sense.
That's this year for us. We've got a huge shortage of cornfields. We've got cornfields in one area.
I don't have. Yeah, I mean, Blake's got a lot more fields than I have, but I don't have a single cornfield.
The problem with us anyway is corn's still up even, but the parasite or whatever is in corn this year, that's been a huge factor.
I noticed that today scouting. I mean, countless, still standing cornfields, and it's January.
They're what is it, $1 less a bushel for corn this year? So it's almost like one of those things where one, it's been so wet this year, which is good and bad for the sheet water and stuff, but it also spreads the birds out, and it's hard for the farmers to get into the fields unless they got completely all tracks or whatever it may be. Obviously, they don't want to run up their entire field.
That's another thing. We don't have a field this year that's consistently got birds in it. Usually, we have one field that always has birds in it. This year, we don't. Not at all. We've got a few fields that birds fly over, and that's what we've been hunting hard.
I'll agree with that, because I feel like last year that field that was to the north of you guys, that field consistently had birds in it quite often.
Yeah, always.
And this year, same thing. We don't really have a field that's...
Well, even looking at the loafs with how everything's not frozen and everything's still just open water, the loafs are completely different this time of year.
Yeah.
This year rather than last year.
Well, why have the loafs when you got water in the field?
Yeah.
I mean, just example wise, though, you know what I mean. Well, like they got so much water out in the fields.
That one, and they're big quarries, they're big rivers, they're big ponds that they're used to loafing in, roosting in, whatever that they do that they're used to keeping open this time of year is just always open. So they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is sit there.
Right. There's a lot of things though, like the small detailed stuff, like just with the beans getting like that fungus or whatever junk's on it, or rotten beans, whatever. There's a lot of small detailed stuff about the waterfowl hunting aspect that people don't look at. Like they not that they don't look at, they just don't realize or know or whatever it may be.
Oh, you gotta pick up a book or a magazine or some articles online or something and read about waterfowl hunting to really understand the sport.
But that, yes, and being able to do what we're doing right now, be able to communicate with people, because the people that are like behind the scenes and like just keep to themselves and do whatever, they're not gonna like see. Like they're gonna have a closed book almost. They're not gonna be able to open up and be able to take knowledge in from people besides the Facebook warriors or whatever. You know what I mean? And you kind of have to do that, because you could open up a book all day long, but that book might be about Arkansas and the rice. Like we don't obviously have rice up here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where you have to do that research for yourself, and that's what like the years and time and experience, and that's what like driving around and stuff like that, it's you see the same thing per se, like just field after field after field, but it's really not though, because it's like you're learning something on every field, you're learning something on every group of birds, you're learning a ton of different stuff. Like if you really look at birds in a field and study that, like if they're spread out, there's not a lot of like food in that field. If they're tight in the middle, there's probably a ton of food in there. They're gonna be there for a while. If they're like on the roads or like near the roads or anything like that, they who knows, they might not even be there the next day. You know what I mean? It's just like those small detail stuff that like people got to look at more.
Yeah, waterfowl hunting's more than just, putting decoys in a field and killing birds. You can't just throw any random decoy in a field and kill birds. I mean, it can happen, but like you were saying, you got to learn the ins and outs to be able to get on those burners.
And you gotta be around the birds. You gotta find where they're at. I don't think you gotta be within a couple mile radius of where they're at, whether you're hunting a feed or whether you're hunting traffic.
No, for sure, and that
of where they're roosting and loafing.
And I'll tell you one thing too, like when I go out and scout or whatever it may be, I'll even go to the the fields that we can't hunt or the fields that I've been sending you guys and stuff, and it's just like just sit there and learn, whether it's the calling or how they are out in the field or like the way that they're spread out or whatever it may be. Like a lot of these guys, going back to like with you learning from YouTube and stuff, a lot of people look at just the kills, look at the spreads, look at the calling, look at the way that the birds are reacting, like look at that kind of stuff more than the pile at the end. You know what I mean? Or the shooting standpoint. Like look at the small details and pick up one key point per hunt or per video and then mash it all into one, and then that's how you're going to be more successful at it all.
Yeah, and then so like when I first started hunting, I was more into duck hunting water than I was, goose hunting in fields. I would sit every single day by myself. I had 24 northern flight mallards and a mojo, and I would just try, stuff on my own. I went on probably 15 hunts by myself where I didn't shoot my gun a single time. And then I would keep trying different stuff, trying to learn on my own, learn the birds, just try what I could. And then eventually, I shot one bird. Then I'd go back to not shooting anything. And then now it's like last year, I hunted the same exact spot every day after work, and I shot at least one duck every day. At least one.
And it's tough too, because like obviously if you're limited at time, like so when I got to a point, I got fields and I was like, oh, there's got to be birds here at one point. But I got to a point where it's like, I'm not going to just sit out here for nothing when I could be scouting, or I'm not going to hunt this day when I could be scouting for. If I don't have anything for Saturday, let me scout Saturday for Sunday. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just jump in this field and hope when I can go put some extra work in and try to make a better hunt for Sunday. Because if you don't hunt, or if you hunted Saturday and weren't able to scout, what's the plan for Sunday? You don't have one because you weren't out scouting or doing anything besides, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things for me. Like, we used to run, honestly, like just how you guys are, like just like the traffic fields and stuff like that all the time. But it just got to a point where it's like, I got tired of not directing it to you guys, but like I got tired of like wasting my time out there and not seeing a bird and then just jumping into a field and setting decoys and everything else. And
trust me, that's the point that we're at right now. I mean, honestly, for what we've got, we've done decent.
You guys have done really good. Good.
We've done decent, but the work that we put in doesn't really show for it. Like there's a lot of work that we put in that people don't see. I'm I know myself, I'm kind of a quiet person. I don't really talk.
Right.
I don't really talk to many people or on a regular basis. I kind of just do my own thing, and I know, Nick, his fields are all right by where he stays, so he can he can scout anytime, any day, no matter what. So he's always seeing birds. It's gotten really deceiving this year for sure.
Takes me a half hour to scout everything. All 17 fields I can hunt. Takes me a half hour.
See, it takes me damn near an hour just to get out to the spots.
No, same here.
You know what I mean?
I need to start breaking off and getting more.
Well, and that's the thing though. Like, so every year you're gonna grow as a hunter or a waterfowl hunter with knowledge that you know about the birds or knowledge that you know about the spread or whatever it may be, right? But every year you should also expand on what you have. Lock down what you have now. Keep those primary fields locked down, but just keep expanding outwards into new spots and learning new areas. Because the biggest problem that I see a lot with like people is that they'll go to an area and say there's no birds out there. Late season, there's a field that they looked at and thought there was nothing out there. And their buddy went out there and asked for permission and just banged them up out there. Like you got to be able to look at spots and be like, oh, okay, right now it's not there, but 2 months what's out there. You know what I mean? Like that's just one of those things. Like where we hunt, there's not a lot of birds in September. Late in the year, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you have to understand that in certain situations.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing we kind of struggled with last year, is that we were trying to stick to one spot. Well, two or three spots, I should say. But this year we kind of ventured out more out west, got out there more towards the middle of the state, a little bit more west of the middle of the state. Got out there, did some scouting, got a couple permission fields out there that we haven't touched this year. And went a little bit north, more towards my work because it's easy for me. Mm-hmm. So we got a couple more spots out there. We kind of expanded just a tiny bit this year, but that's kind of what the ultimate goal for next year is to expand even just that much more, kind of get, at least another 10 fields next year. I think we got another 5 this year, 4 or 5 this year.
I mean, if you set goals every year, I mean that's a positive stride to the next year because I've been doing it like 2016 or 17. I started waterfowl hunting. I want to say, or maybe it was a year I graduated. It was 2015, so maybe right around there was my first year. But I didn't really start field hunting till 5-6 years ago. But it also took me years to get on some of the properties by trust, though, too, because you're some random guy that's coming up to a door. Farmer doesn't know you. He doesn't trust you with his property. Maybe he got sued 10 years ago and doesn't want to deal with it anymore. But you started off small with, hey, you mind if I go shoot rabbits out of the back creek, or you know what I mean? Just to build that trust and grow with people. It takes time to get to that point, but a lot of people just give up after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like I've already said, I wasn't much of a field hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky this year. I had 4 or 5 fields that I had. I found after the second cut of hay, I found birds in a field. This was in August.
Mm-hmm.
And I called the farmer. He was like, yeah. He goes, whenever season starts, you're more than welcome. Well, I ended up talking to him a little more. I stopped by over at his house, dropped him off a case of beer. I sat there, talked to him for like an hour. He's, a great dude. Well, come to find out after doing research on Onyx and all that, he has 12 fields that he owns.
So you got to be careful with that, though, too. You got to be careful, not saying like you haven't done this already. You got to be careful on, there's some farmers that, you guys got one field, that's the field that they think that you're going to be hunting. Like, my big thing is I always talk to the property owners before we hunt the field, which we're at a relationship now where, like, I go wherever, and I'm very fortunate of that. But until like that bond comes, like don't assume that you have permission on that field too. Ask on like, hey, do you mind if I hunt this field too? Do you mind if I hunt that field too? Like as the time comes. You know what I mean? Like just don't jump out there, because that's how a lot of people get screwed out of certain spots. Maybe there's a guy that deer hunts that woods right there. He doesn't want you in that cornfield while he's deer hunting or whatever, and that's how you get the bad rep for it all. You know what I mean? So like, again, going back to it, the communication between it all. Don't just assume. Just like tip wise, you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I agree with that. But I kind of did like what you said. I stopped back over by his house. You know, I talked to him again, and I mentioned 2 or 3. I think it was 2 or 3 other fields I mentioned that he has, and he told me, yeah, you know, I'm good. Obviously, I call him or I shoot him a text, you know, before every time I hunt his fields, and every time he answers, you know, he tells me, he goes, you know, you don't got to call me, just hunt whatever you want, you know, go hunt them. But out of respect for the property owner, I would like them to know when I'm on their land.
It's a huge thing.
You know, just in case anything happens, one of their buddies calls them. You got people out here, you know, anything.
Right.
They know that they can just call me right away. A little bit down the line, he ended up coming to me on a field that he farmed. He didn't own it. He farmed it. He told me, you know, here's the phone number. Call this, you know, call him. This is his name. This is his phone number. So I ended up shooting him a text, letting him know who I was, and asked him, you know, when you get a chance, can you give me a call? I'd like to have a conversation about goose hunting. Well, come to find out, he had the guys who hunted it before got busted by the DNR, something like that, and he ended up having DNR at his house. I don't know the whole story, but he ended up, you know, saying he wishes he could, you know, let somebody hunt it, but he just doesn't want to go through it anymore.
Right.
And that was a really good early season field. I mean, I watched these birds for probably 3-4 weeks before the season started, and every day there was 200 plus in there.
That's another thing too. Hunting these private land fields, the neighboring properties, the houses, it's a good thing to talk to them, because like this year and last year, we've had issues with neighboring houses coming out and thinking that this field is theirs, or because we're next door on somebody else's property, we're not supposed to be next to their house or shooting by them or whatever, when they don't have a say. So stick up for your rights, but at the same time, you know, be respectful. Try to reach out before you go out there, you know. Try to get their phone number, let them know when you're going to be out there. That way they're not all worried about what's going on, a bunch of gunshots going off early in the morning and whatnot.
I've actually got a lot of permission on just letting the neighbors know that, like, hey, we're hunting here. Do you mind if we just park here? Like, just simple stuff like that. It's funny that you bring that up, because that one day that you guys were hunting the edge of the corn, I actually got a phone call on that day from you guys being out there. People asking,
thinking that we were in your guys' field.
Yeah, I had permit. Like, is that you guys out there? I'm like, no. And yeah, like it was just kind of one of those funniest. But yeah, as a solid point to communicate.
That's another thing that's difficult, setting up on property lines. But that was kind of nice, our fields being directly next to each other. Yeah. I think I talked to you that morning to see if you were, or that night before, to see if you were going to be hunting right around there.
I think it was for the other field. For the field south of us. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, yeah.
Either way.
But yeah, I mean, it all just works out nice.
Right.
Make sure you're not in the area. That way we're not messing up your hunting.
Right. And if that's what's nice now, like, if that is the case, like, hey, just come with us. You know what I mean? Like, we'll both.
Well, yeah, and you know, we're not. I mean, if you guys let us know that you're hunting down the road, I think actually the Dirty 30 guys one day were hunting down the road, and then we decided to just hunt, you know, one of our other spots or whatnot in a different area. But you know, we don't have any problem doing that. There's birds around. We're not going out there, and you know, maybe if it was a feed that we were hunting, we'd still go out there and hunt it, but other than that, we're not really out there to be in one particular spot. In the mornings, we usually don't even have our game plan fully wrapped up, to be honest with you.
Well, plus you guys are arguing about spread half the morning, right?
We don't have our game plan for the morning.
What?
We don't have our game plan for the morning yet.
I took off work in the morning, and I don't know what we're doing.
Well, you didn't even know where you're going?
No, we have no clue what we're hunting in the morning. We got to figure that out still.
No clue.
Oh, jeez, oh, Pete's.
But real quick, going back to that, talking with the neighbors, you know Brendan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
So they have
Played
a
football
lease.
with him growing up.
Yep. So they have a lease, a
Mhm.
deer lease. It's for the year. They can, hunt anything they want.
I know exactly what you're talking.
Yep. So yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about that. So that lease,
I know a lot more
Last
than you
year-
think, bud.
yeah, last year, I believe it was last deer season. Brendan was out there deer hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the neighbors came out with an AR. held
And
him-
this year.
Yeah, so last year he held Brendan at gunpoint.
Yep.
All that's all on video. This year his brother was out there deer hunting, and the guy shot at him while he was deer hunting.
And came out with a pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so you already know about all that.
Yeah.
But that's another thing going back. It's a neighbor who the whole thing was he didn't know what he was going to do to his kids because he was out deer hunting.
We had a guy one year, we were hunting the field, we got permission for just one day. It was a very tough property to get on. And guy in the corner thought we were trespassing, who I found out who he was later on, and who told me was the farmer that actually farms the property, which obviously we were completely legal. We were there doing the right thing. We knocked on the door, everything. He thought we were out there trespassing and jumped on the back porch. Every single flock of birds that flew over, he shot at with a 22. And I think we shot like 2 ducks that day or something like that. But the only reason why he did that was because he thought we were trespassing. But prime example of not letting, which I didn't think to let a guy damn near a quarter mile away know, but you know what I mean? Just to let everybody know what's going on. I don't know. What before we kind of wrap it up, because we're kind of going on a long streak here. You guys got any other questions or anything?
Man, I think I'm all set. I'm gonna finish this last beer and call it a night. I think. I don't know if Nick's got anything.
No, I'm all set. Just thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, Kyle, man, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean,
We
it's
really
not,
appreciate your hospitality here, and just over text message. We've been talking to you for quite a while, and standout guy, and we enjoy the relationship that we have.
yeah. No,
I hope to keep building it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I appreciate you guys. I mean, this is we've been talking for a while about coming up here and hanging out, and you guys checking out the room and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's fucking sweet in here too.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's been a lot of time in here, and I don't know, just for you guys to come out and make the trip over and stuff like that. I appreciate it, and like you said, I hope to keep that friendship and the bond keep growing and learning off of each other and helping each other. I mean, like I said, guys don't typically are this close with a guy that hunt around them. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have that group and be able to communicate and have, I guess, that friendship with it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if it's not this year, definitely next year we got to get out on a hunt together.
This year's just been tough just because of literally the lack of birds.
Well, if Kyle can not have a feed and a bunch of birds one day and can come out and only shoot 4, you can come out and hunt with us one
Hey,
day.
I could care less how many issues just to get out. That's what my buddy Sean, he's down in Ohio. He was like, "Yeah, man, I want to pay you back." I was like, "Listen, man, like, I don't care if I just come and like get some footage for like the page and stuff, man. Like, I there's a lot of hunts this year where don't even pull the gun out of the case. You know what I mean? Which obviously there's more times I pull the gun out compared to keeping the gun in. But there's sometimes where I keep the gun in the case for the first 2-3 volleys just because I want to just soak it all in to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've been waiting on a good hunt to try to invite you guys out on. I know Nick talks to your sister with all the
Paracord.
paracord, the paracord lab, the game totes, and all that stuff. Those look really cool.
Which I'm kind of mad about. She hasn't made me one yet.
Oh, boy.
Whatever.
Oh, boy.
We'll talk. Yeah,
I
whatever,
got-
whatever.
My gunsling, my lanyard, and a game tote. And my girlfriend has a gunsling and a game tote that I got made from her.
How's it holding up?
I mean, I've used the gunsling for the last 2 seasons.
Good.
I mean, the game tote's been used. My lanyard I use.
Good.
It's, everything's perfect.
She's always worried about, like the feedback, because like, even same with like the hoodies and the shirts and hats that we sell. It's like, you want to have stuff being sold, not that we're really making any profit on any of this stuff, but just like having the name out. Or I mean, personally, I'm not making any profit on any of this stuff, but like just to have the people representing a good brand, I feel like, or a good company or a local company kind of thing. It always means a lot.
That and you guys yourself, your last names when you get under the meat,
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like personally, I don't know if you do this or not. I mean, I don't tag myself in any of the pictures or anything. It's just
I don't tag my personal page on my waterfowl page, but I'm definitely known for posting probably damn near the same posts on my personal page.
Yeah.
But that's kind of just like all my lifestyle is, really,
Which it like I said before, though, it goes a lot further when you're self-centered like that, though, when you're not like you started the Highland group. It's more about the group instead of you growing bigger, because there is a lot of groups that are growing like around us, or like not even growing, just like starting off. I don't know if you've realized that or not, but like there's a lot of groups that are popping up here and there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
And it's like people are in it for the wrong reasons, though. You know what I mean? I for like the podcast and the group and stuff like that, we do it because we want to teach, or obviously we don't know everything, but I want to learn at the same time. And it's about that more than just me,
Yeah, the Instagram for me is more about the feedback and more about kind of just having those memories there in one account. You know what I mean?
It's more like the hunting side compared to like your life side.
Yeah,
yeah. No,
like
I feel that.
if I want to go look at what hunts we've had, I go look at that Highland page and I can see every single decent hunt that we've had. I don't have all of the 2s and 4s and 6s on there, but
That's what I'm lucky enough to have, the Great Lakes page, because I don't know if you guys were told or I told you guys, we were hunting our corn one time. Halfway through the hunt, I look over at my sister and I'm like, "Hey, you got my phone?" She's like, "No, why would I have your phone?"
I heard about you losing your phone in the marsh or in the corner or whatever.
Yeah, it's gone. I still haven't found it. It's gone. Like I lost like half. Like when you called today, because like it just saved like the iCloud stuff.
Yeah, whatever it was backed up.
Yeah, like I didn't even have your number. I was like, who the hell is calling me right now? Like I didn't even know like it was you calling me. And yeah, everything's like gone. So I told Trav, I was like, "Hey, dude, I don't have any footage or pictures or anything. So like you're gonna have to post some stuff up for a little bit, because I literally have nothing, dude. It sucks, but it is what it is." But you guys want to tag your Instagrams or anything?
Yeah.
Fingers.
I'll go ahead. The waterfowl Instagram is at Highland Waterfowl _, and then the TikTok is just at Highland Waterfowl. Post on there as much as I possibly can. Basically just when we got birds down, when we've had a good time. Yeah, stay tuned. We might have some New stuff coming out on there. Hopefully within the next, we got this last week and weekend here in Michigan, and then we got a couple of weekends in February that will be out. So, yeah, look forward to that.
My Instagram is 734.waterfowl. And I just want to say thank you, Kyle, once
of course,
again
man.
for having us. We
Thank
really
you guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Kyle.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for coming. Before we end it, I just want to thank, our sponsors with GK Calls. We're going to have Glenn coming on here soon. Gator Decoys. I don't know if you guys heard about those guys. I mean, I'm sure you've heard from the podcast and stuff with the extended poles, and can't talk highly enough about those guys and just all of our sponsors. The Migra ammunition.
We've been following Migra heavy this last season after seeing you guys use them, seeing them blow up on social media, seeing the stacked loads.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
We've definitely had our fair share of them this season, and we continue to shoot them as long as they're in stock in stores.
Yeah. It's hard to come by once in a while.
Yeah, they are. But that's
same thing with those guys. I mean, I can't talk highly enough about those guys. I mean, all of the guys that we have sponsoring us and helping us through the journey that we have, well, we don't represent them for no reason. We represent them because we trust the products and just the guys alone. It goes for the SX decoys and like I said, GK, Gator decoys, Migra ammunition. And then, we brought up my sister's company with the paracord stuff. But, no, I want to thank you guys for coming out. I mean, like I said, we've been talking about you guys coming out and hanging out for a little while now, and I know it's a work night, but I appreciate it because, one, we got to know each other a little bit more and I don't know, just learn, you know what I mean? So, you guys got anything else?
No, just, I can't thank you enough for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, it felt great to finally be on the pod. And
even though it was a little weird at first.
A little weird at first, but settled in pretty nice, and I think it went all right. And really appreciate you having us.
Yeah, so go check out 734.outdoor or waterfall. .waterfall.
No, it's outdoors.
Outdoors. 734.outdoors.
Yeah, I've changed it like 2 or 3 times. I don't remember what it is anymore.
I got you guys before. And then Highland Waterfall, I'll obviously tag you guys in this all. And until next time, thank you guys.